Hello and welcome back to Sandra is Booked, where I talk all things book and bookish related. So today we are back again with a book haul. Obviously my favorite. I'm obsessed. At this point I'm never gonna promise not making a book haul because I think it's safe to say that that's not gonna happen. So maybe I will ban myself from buying books in 2023 because I really need to save all that money up instead. So yeah, today we're gonna have a fall bookish book haul. So I don't know when this is being posted, so if it's being posted after fall, I'm so sorry, but life has been chaotic. So either way, let's get into this fall spooky thematic book haul. I mean, I said spooky, but I don't think that all of these books are spooky. Let's just get into it. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you highly recommend any of these. Honestly, I think I'm going to start reading fall books throughout the year because I just love fall and I always want to feel like it's fall time. So even if fall is going to end, I'm not ending fall in my head. So the first thing I have here is books by Tana French. So I have the Dublin Murders, I think that's what it's called, or Dublin Squad Murder Squad series, and I don't know which ones are which. I have two other books that are not part of that series, and I think it's the Trespasser and the Witcher, these two, this one here. But yeah, I have all the other books. So I have The Likeness, I have Fateful Place, I have Broken Harbor, and I have The Trespasser and The Witch Elm. I think as of now I have all of Tana French's book, so I'm so excited, and so far I've been so enjoying her first book in the Dublin Murder series, and actually I'm going to haul it towards the end. Then we have this stack of books which are all fall related books, so I'm gonna go through them quickly. We have Nights at the Circus by Angela Carter, and as you guys know, Angela Carter always writes these kind of feverish novels, and that's why I got this one as well. And then I have The Year of the Witching, and this is a book that's been around now for like 2 years, and it's been really popular, and it's by Alexis Henderson, and it's basically this girl that grows up in this pagan society, and she's of mixed race, and apparently the church doesn't accept her, and something happens to her mom goes away, disappears, whatever, and then she realizes that maybe the way of the church is not the right way, and obviously I think witches are involved, and she rebels and whatnot. So I think this one is really good for the fall time. Then we have The House by Christina Lauren, the famous author duo, and it's funny because I've only seen this online, but I've never heard anyone review or read this book, so I'm just gonna read the quick blurb at the back here. He's always dressed in black, his head down, and shaggy black hair falls into his eyes, but when Gavin looks up at Delilah, his dark eyes, shadowed with bluish circles, seem to flicker to life. Her lifelong fascination with him has been a mixture of longing and bear-like protectiveness, because he lived in that house, the one at the edge of town. Spooky and maybe haunted, Delilah thinks it might be something worse than haunted. Gavin tells Delilah he's hers completely. Whatever lives with him inside that house disagrees. Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. Actually, I want to read this and see if other people have read this online that I know of. So yeah, that's cool. Then we have Horrid by Karina Leno, and we have House of Hollows by Crystal Sutherland. So both of these covers, I keep mixing them up because they look so similar, but I follow this channel called Riley Marie. I mean, the girl that runs the channel is Riley Marie, but I think her channel name is now Riley Marie, and it might have been something else at some point, but she reads a lot of horror, and I remember her reading these two books in the last year or so, and she recommended them, so I'm gonna go through quickly what they are about. So let's start with Horrid. Jane's fingers were numb. Was she ready to admit now that she believed in? The word was still so hard to say. It was silly and childish. It was white sheets with eye holes cut out and grainy pictures of disembodied heads and bumps in the night when you're home alone, all tucked in bed and frozen with fear. Ghost. Ah, it's a ghost story. Oh my god, can't wait to read it. I love the cover. It's so beautiful. The details. Jesus. Let's go to House of Hollows. It says here, Iris Hollow and her two older sisters are unquestionably strange. As children, they disappeared on Scottish City Street only to return a month later with no memory of what had happened to them or where they had been. More troubling, their appearance began to change. Their blue eyes, now black, their dark hair, now white, and as they grow older, odd, eerie occurrences seem to follow in their wake. People find them disturbingly intoxicating, unbearably beautiful, and inexplicably dangerous. Now, 17-year-old Iris is doing all she can to fit in and graduate high school on time, something her two famous, glamorous, globe-trotting older sister, Gray and Vivi, never managed to do. But when Gray goes missing, leaving behind bizarre clues as to where her whereabouts, Iris and Vivi are left to find her, but they aren't the only ones looking. As they brush against the supernatural, Iris quickly realizes that the story she's been told about their past is unraveling, and the world that returned to them seemingly unharmed 10 years ago might just be calling them back again. Ooh, I love that this is a sister's tale, so I think this is gonna be really interesting, and I love that it deals with the supernatural again. Then I got Once They Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. It's a very short novel. Let's read the blurb. Inti Flynn arrives in Scotland with her twin sister. What's with Scotland recently? I love it. Aggie to lead a team of biologists tasked with reintroducing 14 grey wolves into the remote Highlands. She hopes to heal not only the dying landscape. This better be a werewolf story. She hopes to heal not only the dying landscape, but Aggie too, unmade by the terrible secrets that drove the sisters out of Alaska. Inti is not the woman she once was either, changed by the harm she's witnessed inflicted by humans on both the wild and one another. Yet, as the wolves surprise everyone by thriving, Inti begins to let her guard down, even opening herself up to the possibility of love. When a farmer is found dead, Inti knows where the town will lay blame. Unable to accept that her wolves could be responsible, Inti makes a reckless decision to protect them. But if the wolves didn't make the kill, then who did? And what will Inti do when the man she's falling for seems to be the main suspect? I need to exit this video. I really want to know what happened. Holy cow. Okay, this sounds really good, and it's so short. I want to read it. Then we have The Letters of Shirley Jackson. I think Shirley Jackson is a fascinating figure, and I can't wait to dive deep into her letters. Honestly, she's someone that I find super fascinating, and I watched the movie Shirley, so I hope that has to do with this, and I can't wait to read this and read her letters. And like, she writes letters to other famous authors of her time. Like, you have Ralph Ellison, and we have, who else did I saw here? Leslie Jackson, Louise Harrap, and some other people. But yeah, it's really interesting, and it's actually a really big volume of her letters. So it's about almost 600 pages. Yeah, 600 pages long. So I'm gonna read her other novels because I've only read her short stories, and then I'm going to read this in comparison. Then I got Brut, which is poems by Emily Skaja, and I just really love this cover. It looks beautiful, and I've only heard good reviews about this poetry collection. Then I got Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosco, and it's a graphic novel, and it's really cute, and apparently it's really good, and it's kind of like a darker young adult graphic novel or middle grade graphic novel, and I always hear it talked about in the what's it called, the podcast now, on Books Unbound podcast, yes, with Ariel and Raylene as hosts, and they're amazing. So every time they recommend a book, I literally have to go out and buy it. So this one's been heavily recommended by them. Then I have more ghost books, and I have This Is Not a Ghost Story by Andrea Portes, and it's basically, here it says, I am not welcome, somehow I know that something doesn't want me here. Whatever this is, it is saying to me in a voice that cannot be heard but only felt. Get out. So yes, love ghost stories, and I wanted to get more books that have to do with ghosts. But then I also got this collection called Ghosts by Edith Wharton, and it's yeah, it's just a little collection about ghosts, and there's a few stories, and yeah, she's a classic author. I haven't read anything by her yet, but I have been collecting all of her works because Apparently she's really good at what she does, and actually I read a lot about her, as in when I was researching on the French Riviera. If you go back and scroll back to old videos, you'll see my French Riviera blog, and she's been heavily referenced, so that's why I've been collecting all of her works to read them one day. Then we have Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, and honestly I've been just collecting Alice Hoffman's practical magic series because I want to read the whole thing, and there's a movie that's out, but I want to read it like in chronological order, so I feel like I'm missing like half of the books, and so hopefully by next year I collect them all so I can finally read that and watch the highly acclaimed movie. Then I got Nothing But Black in Teeth by Cassandra Call, and the cover, so gruesome, so cool, so short, and here it says a gorgeously creepy haunted house tale steeped in Japanese folklore, and that's all I needed to know. And again, referencing back to the podcast that I listened to, the Books About podcast, Raylene has read this and she liked it, so I really wanted to pick this one up. Then I got Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and basically it says all I can't speak. All sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she had known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among magical grimoires that rattle beneath iron chains, capable of transforming into grotesque monsters. When an act of sabotage released the library's most dangerous grimoire, Elizabeth is accused of treason. With no one to turn to but her own sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. I remember why I really wanted to read this one. It has to do with books and libraries inside the magic system, so can't wait to read this next fall maybe, who knows. Then I got My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite, and honestly this book has been around, and I can't believe I got this very small mini cover. I thought this was like a full-size hardback, but it's not. But yes, basically the two sisters, one of the sister, she ends up killing all of her boyfriends or something, and the other sister covers for her, but now something has changed. Her sister has killed a boy that she liked or loved, and I think we followed the story after that fact. So I can't wait to read this one. Everyone has loved and raved about this book in the last 2 years, so really want to read this one. We finally come to the book outlet box, and I'm just gonna go quickly through the books in here. I have to hurry up because we're missing sunlight and I'm too lazy to set up my lights, so I'm just gonna go, and yes, and then we'll wrap up this book haul. Of course, we have The Secret Place by Tana French. That's another Tana French book that I was missing in this haul, so I'm going to add the last one at the very end after I finish going through this box. But yes, like I said, I was collecting all of her books. Then we have The X-Hex by Erin Sterling, and honestly I've never heard of like a Halloween rom-com, so I think this is gonna be really cool, and I feel like this one had really good reviews when it came out last year. So it says here, never mix vodka and witchcraft. 9 years ago, Vivian Jones nursed her broken heart like any young witch would. Vodka, weepy music, bubble baths, and a curse on the horrible boyfriend. Sure, Vivi knows she shouldn't use her magic this way, but with only an orchid hyride scented candle on hand, she isn't worried it will cause him anything more than a bad hair day or two. That is until Rice Penhallow, descendant of the town's ancestors, breaker of hearts and annoyingly just as gorgeous as he always was, returns to Graves Glen, Georgia. What should be a quick trip to recharge the town's ley line and make an appearance at the annual fall fair turns disastrously wrong. With one calamity after another striking Rice, Vivi realizes her silly little X-Hex may not have been so harmless after all. Suddenly, Graves Glen is under attack from murders, wind-up toys, a pissed-off ghost, and a talking cat with some interesting things to say. Vivi and Rice have to ignore their off-the-charts chemistry to work together to save the town and find a way to break the breakup curse before it's too late. That's hilarious. Honestly, that's so fun. I wish I would have hauled these books earlier, because now I have to wait till next fall to read this, but I think this is gonna be such a like treat, honestly. Then we got No Exit by Taylor Adams, and honestly I've heard such great things about this book, and it's been adapted into a movie now, and it's basically this woman who's saving a college student. What? Yeah, it says here, on her way to Utah. On her way to Utah to see her dying mother, college student Darby Torrin gets caught in a fierce blizzard in the Colorado Rockies. With the roads impassable, she's forced to wait out the storm at a remote highway rest stop with no cell phone reception. Inside are some vending machines, a coffee maker, and 4 complete strangers. Desperate to find a signal to call home, the exhausted young art student goes back out into the storm and makes a horrifying discovery. In the back of the van parked next to her car is a little girl locked in an animal crate. Who is this child? Why has she been taken? And how can Darby save her? There is no way to call for help and no way out. One of her fellow travelers is a kidnapper, but which one? Trapped in an increasingly dangerous situation on the edge of civilization, with a child's life and her own life on the line, Darby must find a way to break the girl out of the van and escape. But who can she trust? Imagine they're all in on it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to read this and watch the movie maybe like next month or something, because this is like giving me I'm thinking of Ending Things vibe for some reason, just because of the stranded nature and like vending machine. Anyways, whatever. Those who know. But yeah. Wow. Okay. Then we have She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and this is fantasy. It says here, to possess the mandate of heaven, the monk Zhu will do anything. In a famine-stricken village on a dusty yellow plain, 2 children are given 2 fates, a boy, greatness, a girl, nothingness. In 1345, China lies under the harsh Mongol rule. For the starving peasants of the central plains, greatness is something found only in stories. When the Zhu family's 8th-born son, Zhu Shangba, is given a fate of greatness, everyone is mystified as to how it will come to pass. The fate of nothingness received by the family's clever and capable second daughter, on the other hand, is only as expected. When a bandit attack orphans the 2 children though, it is Zhu Shangba who succumbs to despair and dies. Desperate to escape her own fated death, the girl uses her brother's identity to enter a monastery as a young male novice. There, propelled by her burning desire to survive, Zhu learns she is capable of doing whatever it takes to stay hidden from her past and claim her brother's given destiny as her own. I love this. I remember listening to this blurb a few months back and wanting to read this, because I've always loved stories of like women taking on a man's identity to just get by, and like I feel like, anyways, I just love those kind of stories. Shakespeare does a lot of that too. But anyways, what am I saying? Yes, I want to read this. That's it. I'm so obsessed with this cover. It's Chouette by Claire Olszewski, and it says here, so an exhilarating, provocative novel of motherhood in extremis. Tiny is pregnant, her husband is delighted. You think this baby is going to be like you, but it's not like you at all, she warns him. This baby is an owl baby. When Chouette is born, small and broken wing, Tiny works around the clock to meet her daughter's needs. Left on her own to take care of a child who seems more predatory bird than baby, Tiny vows to raise Chouette to be her authentic self. Even in those times when Chouette's behavior grows violent and strange, Tiny's loving commitment to her daughter is unwavering. When she discovers that her husband is on an obsessive and increasingly dangerous quest to find a cure for their daughter, Tiny must decide whether Chouette should be raised to fit in or to be herself, and will learn that it truly means to be a mother. Arresting, darkly funny, and unsettling, Chouette is a brilliant exploration of ambition, sacrifice, perceptions of ability, and the ferocity of a mother's love. I like this. I really want to read this. I think this one is going to be good, and I hope that the child can become feral and like just grow to be her own, right? So yes, I love that we are having more and more strange tales coming out lately, and I'm so here for it, because like it's like talking about serious matters but in this strange like hypnotic lens lately, and I'm so freaking here for those type of novels. Another great book I heard really great things about, and it's The Bone Orchid by Sarah A. Mueller, and it says secrets grow in the dark. So it says here, tucked away. Oh, I love the blue. Okay, anyways, actually let's read the back blurb. Charm is a traitor, a witch, a whore, a prisoner, a survivor. Now she must also solve the emperor's murder. So yeah, let's go back to here. It says, tucked away behind a notorious house of ill repute, there is a garden where the trees are grown from bones and nourished by the darkest of secrets. The clattering, ghastly harvest is tended to by the women who live and work at Orchid House. Charm, the madame, and her haunting beautiful charges, shame, justice, desire, pride, and pain. Except on Tuesday when the emperor alone calls at the Orchid House to see his personal concubine. Until the day he summons Charm instead to the place to charge her with his dying decree. Choose which of his horrible sons will inherit the empire, by discovering which one has been responsible for his murder. If she completes this final task, she will be freed from a life of bondage and servitude. Torn between the dead emperor's will and the whisper of her own ghost, Charm must choose justice for an empire she hates or vengeance at the cost of her own freedom. Nice. Love that. That seems like a really big moral dilemma, so can't wait to read this one. Then we also have The Club by Ellery Lord, and it says here, everyone's dying to join. So let me just read you the blurb. It's a Reese Witherspoon's book club book, and I remember seeing this at Chapters when it first came out at the beginning of the year, and the cover and the tagline immediately drawn my eyes. So let me just read you the blurb. The Home Group is a glamorous collection of celebrity members clubs dotted across the globe, where the rich and famous can party hard and then crash out in its 5-star suites, far from the prying eyes of fans and the media. The most spectacular of all is Island Home, a closely guarded, extra luxurious resort just off the English coast, and its 3-day launch party is easily the most coveted A-list invite of the decade. But behind the scenes, tensions are at breaking point. The ambitious and expensive project has pushed the Home Group's CEO and his long-suffering team to their absolute limits. All of them have something to hide, and that's before the beautiful people with their own ugly secrets even set foot on the island. As tempers fade and behaviors worsens, as things get more sinister by the hour and the body count piles up, some of Island's Home's members will begin to wish they never made the guest list, because at this club, if your name is on the list, you're not getting out. I love it. Sounds a little bit culty, and I'm so here for it. And then finally we have the last of Tana French's book, and it's the one that I'm reading currently, and it's Into the Woods. And this one I can talk about because this is the one that I'm reading. So basically 3 children are playing, 2 of them are dead and discovered, 1 comes back and he has no recollection of what happened to his 2 friends of childhood. Fast forward, and now we're following that same little boy, but now he's the detective of this town, and weird things are starting to happen, and he's investigating, and he's remembering that, you know, that everyone's like kind of like walking on eggshells around him because he can't remember what happened to his friends and what happened to him. And yeah, I want to know if everything's gonna get connected or like nicely brought together. But yes, and then there's this new detective, this woman, Cassie Maddox, and apparently it's a big deal that she's at her young age made the team, so he's ganging up with her, he's becoming friends with her. And yeah, we'll see what happens between those 2, and we'll see what happens you know, in general, like if the story is gonna tie up, if we're ever gonna discover what happened to him when he was a young boy. So that was it for my fall book haul. Like, surprisingly so, I think besides the fantasy one, everything was kind of fall related or had fall themes or fall aesthetics, so that's pretty cool. Like, I was just been collecting all the fall books that I bought recently because I have a few more book hauls coming up, but I was like putting aside most of the fall related books that I hauled and that I bought recently. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you read any of these fall books, let me know. Let me know some of your favorite fall books and down in the comments below, because I love fall so much, and maybe I might read some of these outside the fall season, who knows, because I just love spooky tales, horror, thrillers. I love all of that. I love Stephen King as well, although I don't haul him, but he is there on my shelf. And yes, as always, everything is going to be linked down below. All of my blogs, all of the books mentioned, everywhere where you can find me, contact me, and yes, and share things with me. You can look at all of that down in the description. I would also like to remind you that all readers and all non-readers are more than welcome on this channel. My goal here is to inspire you to read more and to find your next favorite book, and if I can do that, I am so happy, and the goal and mission of my channel is succeeded. So yes, always let me know if you found your next favorite book through my channel, or if you're, you know, super excited of reading again. I just love to share the love of reading all the time. So for now, I am not going to read something. I'm actually going to clean up the mess I made in this room, because although you see bookshelves, you don't see the floor shelves, because literally I'm using this floor as shelves because it's chaos. It's chaos and it's chaotic, but I will go and fix that now. So for now, keep reading, and I'll see you on the next book video. Bye!